Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Dose. We are here on some Dynasty Scrolls this evening. Um, and yeah, there's quite a lot going on, but I feel like for the purpose of this video, we're just going to cover the Limited Hero event. First things first, I do apologize if there's any background noise. We do have dogs barking in the neighborhood. We also have some crickets and some frogs chirping due to the rain. I can't control that, so I do apologize in advance if that disrupts the immersion of the video. Hopefully, it's not too loud going on in the background, or I can talk over it. I have a pretty loud voice. First things first, let's check out old mate here with the flash sale. Basically, I would steer clear of this. Obviously, grab your daily gold. That's kind of a no brainer. We love gold here, free. You get some gold there. But in terms of like the value behind this, I still feel like God's blessing is probably going to serve you a little bit better. Granted, it's not arrived yet, so I would wait for God's blessing to arrive. They do generally have either the whole hero in shard form, or they have part of the hero in shard form, or they have additional spins at the cost of gold, but you also get some other resources along the way. It's generally about 10 to 15% additional value. So if you're going to spend on the event, I would advise just waiting for them to drop. They generally last for about 13 hours in terms of length of sale. Now, first things first, as we progress into the heroes, there's a couple of things I want to cover. Now, I kind of want to talk about what direction a free to play should take. Now, I'm going to keep saying now a lot here, but if I was a free to play player, and I'm going to, preface this and say this is also going to be an audition opportunity for those. We'll get to that in a second. But if I was a free to play player, I would pick something that I could get access to each day. Even if I was a spender, which I am, I would probably pick something that I know that I can get some guaranteed currency of. And of course, that's the wishing shop. So once you get to level 50, you'll be able to get your daily wish, which is 50 a day. Plus, you got your missions, so you get 60 of your missions. Basically, this is something you can do. It's actually better if you're a Wei Nation and a Shu Nation than if you're, say, a Warlord Nation or a Wu Nation. But, it is what it is, right? You can actually work towards getting these heroes for free, which I feel like is a fantastic, kind of like a fantastic, I want to say, bonus would be the word. Bonus. It's like a bonus in the sense that even if you like aren't lucky, even if you don't spend any money, even if you don't have gold, at least you're gonna have an option to build a legendary hero eventually, right? It'll take you a month or 30 days to get it because you need 120 shards. So at 30 days of doing it every single day, you will get a legendary. So there is that. It's not a bad thing. Honestly, I kind of feel like that sets us up to what happens next. Now, in terms of Wei Nation, I talked about Dan Wei being the one. He does a stun, which is a column, so it's the first row. He has a pretty high stun chance too, even at baby level. Has about 35% stun chance. He also does attack with accuracy and ignores defense. Deals additional damage as well. So he's pretty versatile. Simi Yi is pretty popular. I'm not entirely sure if Simeone is the first choice that I would pick, but that's just because he seems to hit everyone or four players. He has a 30% chance for target to reduce rage, then damage reduction, and then restores HP. So he's kind of like a buff, debuff. Of course, this guy attacks everyone and has a chance to reduce their rage and also their crit and damage by 20%. So, in terms of like what they can do, Wei Nation generally is a stun nation and has high DPS, so I guess that's why the legendaries are more support based. Um, as we're talking about this is kind of leading into the audition. I would love to see people that have built all three legendary heroes. If you could comment what hero you built first, what hero you built last, and what hero you would recommend to build first based off your experience. And no judgment. I'll read them all. Other people will read them all. And of course, please enter dialogues when you see these comments. Maybe make your suggestions as well if you're using the same nation. Be civil, be courteous, discuss it. But what I think it would be is a great way to see when we build the Discord what nation masters we will have allocated for those roles. Of course, you don't have to apply for that role. That's fine. If you just want to chill, watch the videos, absolutely, that's your prerogative. But as I said, we kind of want to, lean towards building the channel and building the Discord around that and having some specialists as well. So I'd be very interested to hear what your suggestions are for first hero, best hero, and what you would do again. I certainly will be talking about that in a second. Now for Shoe Nation, old mate Royal Tom. Royal Tom, I predict Marchow is a great first hero. The reason being is he seems to have abilities to regenerate rage himself, and he hits pretty damn hard. He is a single target hero, though. I don't know if that's his biggest downside, but he seems to hit like a truck. Now, in terms of Liu Bei, he hits the first front row. He has a chance to reduce target's rage by 2. And he also does some damage bonuses. He seems interesting. HYY is by far the most interesting one, though, and I'm going to keep saying interesting because I like that word. Anyway, this one seems to do some pretty cool accuracy and damage bonus to your party. Accuracy is very, very, very important for Siege. So my understanding is she also has a chance to increase rage to one of your heroes by 2. When she actually gets the 7-star, that's 2 heroes by 4. So also she does a pretty huge accuracy and damage bonus to all heroes, which is pretty damn cool. So lucky you. My suggestion, Marchow. Now, Garning was my suggestion for the Wei Nation. I did that because he attacks the enemies in a front row. He does this. Let's just demonstrate it. And he stuns them. And I base all of my suggestions on Warrior Trials or Trials Tower. Either way, it's just kind of the same thing. The Tower. I base everything on Tower and whether or not they can KO or stun round 1. Anyway, I feel like Gardening was a top choice, but I was told that Lu Shan is actually better. And having read what he does, I kind of agree because he burns and attacks all enemies. He also has like a crit resistance and damage reduction on them, which is not too bad for 2 rounds. I feel like he's probably a strong hero. Bunny Girl Little Chow is not too bad either, although I don't really know how she fits into the meta because she doesn't burn. She has a rage reduction, damage reduction for 2 rounds, so she's kind of like a debuff. 15% more damage than a dual 100. Yeah, I don't know. She's interesting. Let's see what she actually does. Okay, so she attacks the back row and she does a rage reduction. Overall, it seems pretty solid. I mean, you can get her for free from the washing shop. The washing shop. But that leads me into old mate Zhu Zhang. Now, I personally would say out of all the warlords, Dao Chan's actually the weakest choice. Although, granted, she does crit resistance reduction, which is quite nice because everybody in the Warlord Nation buffs crit. So essentially, they have 100% crit chance most of the time as the fight goes on anyway. But basically, she does some CC. She only has a 20% chance to silence. I wouldn't bank on her silencing. Kind of leads me into who I would pick as my first one, which is Zhu. The reason I picked Zhu is because he hits pretty damn hard. He has a solid chance to poison the target, and of course he does a all buff. He buffs the entire party damage bonus and crit by 20%, which is actually pretty significant. As you can see though, he kind of attacks in a column with the one up the back. I generally put him with Dong Zhao, so I put him slot 2 where he's right now, and then I put Dong Zhao directly behind him in slot 6, or 5 I should say, sorry. And that way they kind of combo quite well together because their attack pattern is exactly the same. Now, Zhu Zhang. Zhu Zhang's interesting. I noticed when I played my Zhang though, he does seem to have a hard time hitting the target. And I feel like I need to boost his accuracy because a lot of them evade his attacks. He only really has a very small percentage chance to reduce all targets. By the way, it's not just one target, it's all targets. He has a chance to reduce their rage by 30% chance. And of course, their defense and increase everyone's evasion by 15%. But on higher levels, he's quite good. He would probably be my first choice, even though I'd like to play with the other one. He would be my first choice in order to buff, just because he offers such a versatile ability to even if he doesn't hit the target into damage wise, he can still has a chance to reduce damage he doesn't really hit very hard. Let's just be honest, he doesn't attack very hard, but he does have that quite rounded effect to be able to reduce their rage by 2. And of course, he reduces their defense by 25%. And there's another guy that reduces enemy defense as well for 2 rounds and then increase our evasion. So he does have a part to play. I feel like he's more towards if you've built other legendary heroes before him, though. Um, yeah. This guy here actually has an ability to reduce crit resistance for 2 rounds, which is pretty nice. Tank Stash, I forget what he does. Attack has 20%, increased attack. No, that's not the one. Is it this guy? No, it must be Haltao. Haltao's got crit, right? Random allies crit strength by 15% for 2 rounds. And increase their crit by 10%. Okay, so he boosts the crit as well. Anyway, they kind of all work together with boosting crit and then reducing target's crit resistance to the point where they all kind of get to the, pretty high levels of crit damage. I personally think that if you're free to play, you should be working on the Wishing Stone ones. Eventually, after I believe level 50 in the side quest, I haven't unlocked it yet. You'll be able to access some of the legendary shards. I can't preview any. I can't really see when that actually becomes available. But when it does, of course, we will be doing some videos to unlock that and talk about it. But for those that know, please let us know in the comment section below when you can actually start to unlock Dan Wei and Dao Chen in the legendary side quest, because that's great information. That's actually beneficial. Now, here's the part where you probably don't need to worry too much about, but for those that love the math and those that love the leaderboard, basically one pool gives you 10 points. You need 600 points to get on the leaderboard. If you get on the leaderboard, or e.g. a ranking, you will get corresponding rewards all the way from 300 to 30 shards. So 10th place and below 10th place is about 30 shards, and then it goes 30, 60, 90, 120, 160, 220, 222, sorry, 220, 220 and 300. Jeez. But basically, that's if you've saved, if your strategy is to save for a couple of events and then pull the trigger, I would recommend doing that, because with about 200 of your tokens saved up, well, we all know that's 2,000 points, and that's pretty good. 2,000 points should get you in the top, at least top 5, depending on your server bracket and how many people spend. But as a free-to-play, you kind of want to be chasing those free points, because essentially that means you're going to get guaranteed shards, and guaranteed shards mean guaranteed heroes. Kind of obvious, but that's pretty much the mechanics of the game. Now, the thing that I would like to talk about now is maybe a little bit controversial. Basically, I don't know why they haven't released the new 4th hero, the 4th legendary hero. Zhao Shi is the one for Warlord. It's been 2 weeks. I assume they should have done it in this one. I hope they do it in the next one, but who knows how long it's going to take when they're actually going to do another limited hero where Zhao Shi's in it. Just in general, though, let's just look at the probabilities as well. And this is where it kind of gets a bit nitpicky. So the Epic Hero Shard, you have 70% chance. Look, most people have probably already leveled up their Epic Heroes to level 70. That's the reality, not level 70. They've leveled up their Epic Heroes to 7-star. So everything else is kind of just like a dead drop. I feel like they need to open up the epic pool to, once you've got that hero, you can only get heroes that you haven't got. And once you've got all the heroes for that specific nation, then it just becomes a pool of all other nations available. Um, I feel like that's something that needs to be suggested in the feedback columns. Let them know that it's a little bit ridiculous that you're getting epic shards that you can't use. Now, if they say, oh, later on you'll be able to ascend all of your epic heroes into legendary heroes, but you'll need like more copies, fair enough. I can see them doing that. They did that in DH when they made normal rare heroes into divine heroes. So DH being Dynasty Heroes. So I could see them doing that potentially, but for now, it just kind of doesn't make any sense. Now, for legendary shards, all right, so you have a 30% chance to get between 1 to 3 shards in a treasure chest. Now, the treasure chest looks a little bit like this, because this is exactly what it looks like. Basically, depending on the nation that you pick, is the nation that you get. It is what it is, right? You're going to need lots more as you progress to star them up. As you can see, for me to go to 4-star, I'm going to need, well, actually 5-star, I'm going to get 180 shards of Zhujiang or Zheju. So it is quite expensive in terms of how much you can get. My biggest gripe is the fact that they gave the opportunity to build this guy, Zhaoxi. But the biggest issue was that then they did this rebate thing, that it's a trap video that I did, where they basically tried to make you pay for the rest of the copies, and then they did like a horrible G2, G3 beast gear, which costs between 700 USD to about 2000 AUD. Absolutely terrible value. I hope nobody really spent on that. Even if you are a whale, I still feel like that was terrible value. But then it kind of dawned on me that that's the nature of the game. That's sort of what's emerging as a trend, where they will release things like the Serpent Hybrid, depending on your server bracket, of course. But whatever the newest item on the server bracket is, even 2 weeks later, they're still not going to release that in the events. They're not going to release that in anything other than the shop where you have to buy it. They may, if you're lucky, allow you to buy it from, say, the Celebrate the Festival. And then all of a sudden, it's kind of like a month into it, they've made their quota. They've kind of given the whales the advantage of having a month ahead of everyone. Not that we care, because if you're a whale, you're not going to compete against us. You're really only going to fight other people in other servers, right? So the truth is, then everybody else kind of catches up. Then they all have an opportunity to pull for that new hero, or that new, like the Serpent Halberd, or like the Fire Kitty. So I'm predicting the Fire Kitty is probably not going to appear in the Billionaire event. I would happily say that if I'm wrong, I'd be like, this is the best thing I've ever been wrong about in my life. Because I don't want to wait another month. Like, in reality, I didn't want to wait a month to pull my limited heroes. I hope that they take some feedback. They hope that they go, okay, the community doesn't want to be in a position where they have to pay, and then they just see the game as pure pay to win nonsense. We all know it's pay to win. Like, let's be honest, we all know it, right? But we'd like to at least be reflecting some of the value, where we can have some fun and make some progress, and not have to wait a month to make those progress. Which sounds kind of selfish, because I know a lot of other games, it can take 3 or 6 months to make progress. But this is such a fast-paced game, and that's the way they designed it. So it kind of is counterintuitive for them to pull back on actually being able to build the heroes that we want to build, based on their business model, trying to milk people from money. I will always say, don't spend money. Wait. I will always be an advocate for that. If you want to spend, that's your choice. No judgment. We love you all. But the reality is, most people are probably just going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for Zhaoxi to arrive. Should I? And then this really leads into the next thing: is should I pull? Should I pull and start pursuing and building some of my other ones? Potentially I can finish off Zhaoxing or Zhujiang, or I could put Jiazhu. I could pull some more there. Maybe I could do a 4-star Dao Chen. I'm thinking about it, even though I really don't like her, but at 4-star she kind of boosts up a little bit in terms of potential. What do you think? Is it worth me investing in keep going? Is it really worth me, or should I just wait? Just save my 60 free tokens. Make sure I should probably cover this too. You get 6 a day, and then you can buy an additional 300. Make sure you do. That's why I kept harping on about 12k gold. It all makes sense to you when you have a look at this. Make sure you get 12k gold to get additional 40 spins. Anyway, in saying that, should I just save? Should I just be like, you know what? I'll use the arms race to be able to finish off Dalchan, because I can do it for 5k gold, and I'll just keep saving. Because let's be honest, let me click on that. The drop rate of getting a legendary hero is 0.18%. Now, I've been fortunate enough to pull a couple of legendary heroes already. If you haven't already seen my previous videos, check those out. Massive flex. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like, out of 200 tokens, I managed to pull one every time. I don't know if that's above average or on par, but the reality is you still kind of have to save up tokens in order to do it. If you're in the same boat, let me know. Are you like, look, I don't really want to keep building the 3 that I've got. I want to build the 4th one because the 4th one's amazing. I don't know if Zalshi is even amazing, to be honest, but I just want to be able to build that, because I know the defined benefits of building that means an additional support slot, which then means we can actually start to progress in terms of power level and all that other sort of loveliness that comes with that. So in reserves, you get a support slot. So when I unlock the 4th legendary, I get to slot another one here. And then I have to wait for Lubu to arrive, probably in about 4 months' time. No joke. But that's my take on the event. Let me know if you're disappointed. Let me know if you have noticed this as the typical trend. I hope I'm wrong about Fire Kitty, Tom, but I really don't. I really don't doubt that that's the nature that they would want to do it. Wouldn't be surprised if Fire Kitty appears in a rebate. They could be generous and give it as shards in a rebate, which would be very unusual. But if they do that, of course, I would be strongly recommending to do that. Always check your rebates every day. Your rebates in your expeditions. Make sure you're doing them. It's common sense. Free resources, free gold. Only takes you about 5 minutes a day to do them. So don't miss out. Depends on what server you're on, because of course different servers have different events going on. But that's pretty much it. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one tomorrow. We're going to start our very brand new spanking series, the beginner guides. So stay tuned.